Hey, blessings and welcome again to Imago Spiritual Learning and Wellness. Continuing on the topic of spiritual awakening and what is that? Um, my last video, I touched on what is the purpose of spiritual awakening, and how, and in answer to that, we can look to the butterfly for clues on that. And so, continuing on that topic, and of this possibility of spiritual awakening, whatever that means, and however that may look for you, however that may look like for you. Um, Most typically, that follows an event, a crisis, right? A personal or spiritual crisis. Um, for whatever reason, and I'll get into that in other videos of why that is, why that's often the case. But anyway, I touched on what is the purpose of spiritual awakening, and so um, what did Siddhartha Gautama do when he realized the Buddha within himself? Well, he went about teaching the Dharma, right? The way, the path that leads to right thought, and ultimately leads to right thought, right speech, and right action. And he also sent out disciples, two by two, and to teach the Dharma, and how through following one's Dharma, one's own unique path, one can mitigate one's karma, karma from past events, past choices in this lifetime, or perhaps in past lifetimes. And I'm not saying that reincarnation is true or not true. That's not the point of this at all. And this is not to extol Buddha as the ultimate of, no, not at all. Just looking at Buddha as an example, and just like I used the butterfly as an example in my last video. So anyway, and so in teaching, what are we promoting when we teach? We're promoting learning. And learning what? Well, in this case, it's to promote the learning of that which will greatly help you in life and prepare you for the life to come. Okay, in short, let's just keep it simple here. And that's the learning that we're promoting. And I'm not a Buddhist, by the way, just so you know. And so, but that's what Siddhartha did with his spiritual awakening. And much like the butterfly goes about reproducing, right, serving others and reproducing and pollinating and multiplying new life forms, multiplying the essence of life, promoting the essence of life, and that's what Buddha did, promoting the essence of life, which again boils down to righteousness, right thought, right speech, right action, and promoting the middle path, right, the balance, the centeredness that keeps us intact, whether circumstances go up or down, doesn't matter. You stay in that middle path. What did Jesus do with his spiritual awakening? He went about healing and teaching, right? Healing those who were sick and who were blind and that sort of thing, and teaching what? The way of righteousness, the way of right living, and the way of the kingdom of heaven. Where's the kingdom of heaven? It's within. And there was one particular story of when he healed the woman, and a woman who had a certain disease for a number of years, And what did he tell her? Did he say, God healed you? No. Did he say, I healed you? Or this or that healed you? No, not at all. He said, your faith, your own faithfulness is what healed you. Your healing came from within, in other words. Because that's ultimately where all things are found and discovered and come from, is from within us. The way, the truth, and the life is within. But anyway, with his spiritual awakening, Jesus went about healing, which is, again, restoring the balance, and teaching, promoting the learning that what you seek is within you. What you seek, what you desire is already within you. The kingdom of heaven is founded on the principle of oneness. That oneness is within us. And if you're seeking healing, health, balance, restoration of balance, it's within us. And it's activated, it's actualized through our connecting with the divine within, the spirit within. And through that service to others, we promote the best in ourselves. We promote the best in others. We promote the best and the highest possible good on earth. Because when that principle is actualized within the individual, they can take that principle into any and every area of life, whether as a mother or father, as a neighbor, whether as a carpenter or fisherman, or as a business owner, or as a nurse or doctor, or as a maintenance man, or as a store clerk. You can take that principle into any and every area of life. As a family member, as a friend, as a stranger who's online at the local store. And again, it's not about preaching and proselytizing and seeking to convert others to this or that belief system. No, because we've left that behind. That's what our spiritual crisis was all about, wasn't it? The old world fell apart for us. The old belief system fell apart for us. So there's no proselytizing here. There's no seeking converts to any particular religion or faith. No, that's not what it's about at all. It's about you feeling renewed and reborn within yourself, and feeling that and growing in that day by day, moment by moment, thought by thought, word by word, action by action. Growing in that, in this new realization of ourselves as something more than what we once believed, as something more than what we were told to believe of ourselves, as something more than what we were led to believe about ourselves. Growing up, my experiences in childhood told me that I was no good, that I was dirt, I was trash, I was nothing. That's what my childhood experiences, my childhood traumas and all the abuse and just all of it, that's what it taught me. That's what it reinforced in my mind in terms of a self-image, and that's the self-image I grew up with, that I was nothing, that I was worthless, literally. However, without realizing it, it also led me to deepen the well of compassion within myself, so that when I saw others who were being abused or being bullied or being targeted in any way, I felt for them. When I observed others who were isolated because of their appearance or for any reason at all, I could feel that. I could feel them. And I gravitated to those individuals. And I befriended them. And I could tell that it made a difference for them. Because the ones that did it for me, like Pepino, when I was growing up, when I was a boy, he was a real support for me. He was a real advocate. He couldn't be there very much for me. I had to go through what I went through alone in being bullied and abused in all different kinds of ways. But he is one of my angels in life. He's one of those special messengers that told me that I was loved and that I was supported by him, if by no one else. Of course, I received love and support from my family, but specifically as it related to what I was going through, he knew. He knew because he had witnessed some of it. He had observed some of it, and he had stopped some of it. But again, he couldn't be there in the majority of times. So you can do the same thing. You can support others, advocate for others. You can follow the path of an awakened one, an enlightened one, awakened to what you are in essence. You are one with Creator. You are the expressing of Creator. You are the expressing of the Spirit of life, the expressing of the power and the highest power and possibility in this universe. You are an expression of that. Just as the stars and the sun and the moon and this earth and all things beautiful, so are you. And you can promote that because you are that, and when you grow in that realization, when you grow in that awareness, man, all you want to do is just serve others and share so that they may come to know that for themselves. And you point them not to a religion, not to a faith, not to a belief system. You point them within. You point them within. So to follow the path of awakening, to follow the path of the anointing, the Christ path, the Christed path, you can be one that you can become one that is anointed. You are one that is anointed. Anointed with what? What does that mean? To be anointed with power and authority, because you will not misuse that power and authority to bring harm to another. In ancient times, in ancient civilizations, there was, just like today, we have the swearing-in ceremony when someone is sworn into office, whether it's office of presidency, governor, mayor, whatever the case may be. They're sworn into office. They put their hand on a Bible and they recite whatever pledge to fulfill their office dutifully. Well, in ancient times, it was the ceremony involved an anointing with oil, and that you were being sworn into this office and given this power and authority because you can be trusted with it. You are of a character that you can be trusted. So to awaken like Buddha is to awaken to what you are. To be anointed like Christ and to be a Christed one is to be entrusted with power and authority because you will not misuse that power and authority. And then beyond that, to my mind, is the path of ascending, the butterfly. And to ascend is to rise, to elevate, to rise above circumstances, to rise above the conditions of life. However good or bad they may be, if I may use that word, because it's all part of the oneness, it's all good. But that's your Imago, whether it's Buddha or Christ or the butterfly. The awakening, the anointing, the ascending. You want to fly like a butterfly? Do you want to fly? Well, stay tuned in. Let's learn to fly. Let's awaken to what we are day by day, like the rising of the sun at dawn, and let the daybreak become the high noon of self-actualization through awakening to what we are. And then let us follow that path of anointing, cultivating a character that is trustworthy and reliable. A character of integrity and honesty and humility, loving and grateful and wise and truthful and spiritual and peaceful. It's not easy. I fail a lot. But it's all good because we don't quit. We don't quit. And then to go on to the ascending, to fly, to rise above. Not to be above anyone else, no. But to rise like the rising tide that raises all ships. Right? That's what it's all about. It's flying, learning how to fly, what flight is all about, and then teaching others how to fly. And then sharing with others the path of awakening, sharing with others a path of anointing, sharing with others a path of ascending. And you can use your own self-defined imago. For me, what works for me is the imago of Buddha, of Christ, of the butterfly. It really works. It really resonates with me strongly, powerfully. Almost makes me emotional here. But use the images through your own creative imagination, through your own oneness with Creator, through your own oneness with Spirit. You can draw upon your own imago and employ and utilize your own imagery so that you can become an imaginal cell on this earth to help promote and bring about a new birth of a new humanity. And it starts with you. That's who it starts with. So will you be the one? Will you be the one? Will I be the one? Will we all be the ones, the imaginals? So let's awaken together. Let's be anointed together. Let's ascend together. Let's fly. Let's fly. Let's fly. Eternal blessings to you and to all that pertains to you. And thank you so very much for taking this time with me here at Imago Spiritual Learning and Wellness. Stay blessed.